All right, next I want to talk to you about how to add trees. So adding trees, that's going to be, with your terrain selected, right next to the Paint Terrain button is the Paint Trees button. So I'll click on the Paint Trees button. With the Paint Trees button clicked on, now I got the trees dialog here. But at the moment, I don't have any trees defined for this terrain. So I'm going to click on the Edit Trees button. Find that Edit Trees button. And when you click on it, they'll get the choice Add Tree. And then you might be wondering, okay, when am I ever going to find trees? And yes, you will. If you click the circle select right here, and then you typically have to wait a little bit, and if your menu comes out really small, because the default size of this menu is like about that big, just grab a corner of it and drag it out, and then wait for the thumbnails to populate. Then you're going to notice that you've got like 3 different kinds of birch trees, 2 different kind of deciduous, and 2 different kind of oak trees. So I'm going to go grab one of those oaks. I'll double click it and then click add. And now I got an oak tree. Then I'm going to click edit trees to add another tree because I want to load my trees up ahead of time. Click the circle select button and get a birch tree. Click the add button. And I'll click edit trees, add tree, click the circle select, and I'll get the light green birch tree and click add. Now I've got 3 trees lined up. And lastly, I'm going to add one of the deciduous trees. And I'll click add on that. So now I've got all 4 of my trees. Now, one thing I want to do for all 4 trees, I'd like them all to be big. So one by one, let me see. Yep, they're all getting that. Good. I set their tree height to a random tall height. So they're going to all be tall within a random range of tall. I want them towards the tall side. It's a big map here. And then I'll set my tree density to if my brush is going to be 40, I'd set my brush size to 80. So if my tree density is going to be 40, I'll set my brush size to 80. And then let me focus on this part of the map and zoom in on a little bit. If I click, I'm going to get the trees that I currently have selected, which is Oak Tree 1. And this is going to give me a nice little Oak Tree 1. That's Oak Tree 1. Now I'll switch to Birch Tree 1 and find another part of my scene here and put some birch trees in here. Click on Birch Tree 2. There's Birch Tree 2, and then I'll click on my deciduous tree, and that'll paint those all. That's about all there is to applying trees. Now, if you try to apply trees up on mountains, what you're going to find is that very often the trees are sticking out of the mountains at a really bad angle. So you want to be picking areas that are not too steep to place trees on. For instance, I got a tree right over here that's looking really steep. I might lower my brush size down to 20, mouse right over that tree, and if I press my shift key, I can erase that tree that's kind of in a bad spot. If you find any trees that are kind of in a bad spot, you can erase them by pressing and holding down your shift button. That's how you would erase trees from your scene. But that's the long and short, the quick and dirty of how to get trees into your scene. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you on YouTube.